We are live once again. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. We appreciate everybody's patience. I am back. Bitcoin, everyone bearish. Shockingly, macro concerns. Was Bitcoin a bubble? Did I get caught? Did you get caught in a bubble? Did the bubble burst? Oh my God, should you be upset? If Bitcoin can go down another $10,000, what should you do? Well, I can tell you the first answer is don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. This weekend, we will be massively reloading the YouTube member area. We will be massively reloading Patreon, because if they're going to sell on the inflation number next week, this is a major opportunity. Why? Because we need a different currency. YouTube members have been hearing about this along with Patreon members for a very long time. Very long time. We need a different currency. So if you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, hit the like button. The QR code on the screen and the links down below will get you into the YouTube member area. We are ready for 2025. We have a list of altcoins, and we had a list of DeFi coins that were perking underneath the market right before this thing fell out of bed. The market fell out of bed on macro concerns. We will look at that. We will look at the bond market. We will look at the currency market. Now, everyone is pretty wound up about the Fed. Let me straighten everybody out right off the bat. You know what the Fed's going to do? Nothing. They're going to take a vacation. So everybody said we're going to need massive interest rate cuts. It's probably not happening. Everybody thinks there's going to be a crisis in the bond market. I don't agree, right? Checking out Patreon, which is our middle tier membership, which has a chat function where we can all chat together in a safe and secure way. Okay. Needless to say, I will never DM you first. Don't send anybody money. I will never DM you first, and I will never ask you for money. LuxAlgo, make sure you scan the QR code to get that great chart program. And then there's the Bill Noble indicator that goes along with it. Please feel free to check those out. YouTube member area, Toby Ward and I will be coming back strong after this seemingly absurd interruption. The best thing the Fed can do is be quiet and stay out of the way and save enough powder for any possible crisis. 2025 is volatile, but in order to have a bull market, you have to have fear. And the biggest thing that's happening that no one is talking about is the fact that the British pound is falling apart. We need a new currency. So do the English. And the English and Mr. Market are realizing that the government, the sovereigns over there, do not have the interest of the citizens at heart. They don't. And members and Patreon members, they know this. They know that the future of humanity will be decided in the foreign exchange markets. Now, that's pretty revolutionary because a lot of people are looking for some kind of bond market crisis. They're looking for a stock market crash. If you want to make an argument for stock market and possibly even crypto downside, is that if rich people have lost their homes, and I don't know if they're insured or not, but even if they are, they may have to market sell investments in order to raise cash. So the more rich people that get hurt by this terrible fire in California, you may have selling pressure in stocks and who knows in crypto on this inflation number, because people have gone from bullish to neutral, and it takes one more decline to get everyone hysterical. We went from 200K guaranteed before Christmas to I'm bearish and I'm out in what? 14 days. We're giving up on a 10-year bull market in 14 days with the British pound, right? Really, arguably, the world's first powerful paper currency is being hammered. Meanwhile, gold's about to break out. So we got a lot of macro experts out there now. And, we do have risk. We have bonds. We'll talk about Bitcoin as a bubble. Is Bitcoin a bubble? Like, did we just all buy the top? We'll talk about it. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. All right. Let's welcome who's here. We have Bull Runner hammering away with the emojis. Thank you, sir. Okay. Randall is here. Zen Trader, right? Indie Rock Crypto. Randall hitting all the emojis and the green button. Bill Rockwell, let's go. Ian, Bob, Crypto Keeter, Willimeter is here. Welcome. FD White. Follow him on Twitter and YouTube. Him and Richard Barry are what's next. Crypto to the moon. Welcome. James Bond. Love that. Pierre Beltran, Crypto Crazy. Welcome. Welcome. T-Bone in the house. Good evening. Right. No coiners are watching their crypto friends get demolished, but sure, they're coming. Yes, they are. Right. Cossacks. Marcos. Welcome. Okay. Now, let's begin with some very important news. Sentiment, oh God, Crypto Crazy with the super chat. Sir, I appreciate that very much. All right. Now, the Crypto Fear Greed Index, which was at 92 before Thanksgiving, but that was kind of high. Eventually went back down to 70, and now it's at 50. So we're all neutral. Everybody was in greed mode for a while, and then everyone packed it in. Everyone got scared of an inflation number. The inflation number hasn't been true in 2 years, but we all ran in fear. The inflation numbers are coming out. They probably won't be good, and we don't know if they're true either. But, prices were higher over Christmas. So, we've been freaking out about inflation in crypto, the Fed, inflation, geopolitical conflict, this thing in California. Just a brief word on that. So we're all selling DeFi, we're selling crypto, we're selling Bitcoin. Yet we have two of the biggest sovereign failures in history, I think, with the California fires. And let's just say some of the developments over in the United Kingdom regarding what you can and cannot say online, and about, certain illicit activity that was not only not detected, but, basically enabled to the point where the currency market had to get involved to get their attention. And believe me, the Bank of England is on the phone going, guys, hello. Okay. The orange man got rid of Trudeau. Sterling is going to get rid of whoever is running that show over there. The foreign exchange market is talking to us. And I don't know if we're listening. I know we're not listening because we're too busy getting hysterical about bonds. Now, bonds have their problems. We've borrowed too much money. Amazing how that all of a sudden becomes a problem 9 days or 10 days before a new administration comes in. Wait until you see the hysterical headlines from our left-wing friends at Bloomberg. Oh my God, it's the latest giant scare. Now, again, if Bitcoin is going to go down, it's because rich people have to sell because this thing in Los Angeles is unchecked, right? And people with money may have to sell to survive. That includes equities. If there's an argument to sell, that actually makes sense to me. Okay. But nothing else does because we need a different currency, right? And the solution to our problems is not a bond market crisis. I know that's very fashionable with hedge funds. You can have a bond market scare. You can have the bond market freak out about this inflation number next week. Okay. You can have the equity market and the bond market have to get real about what the Fed is and isn't going to do. Okay. And when that's all said and done, 4 months from now, are you going to remember what was going on? Are you going to remember what we were all hysterical about why fear greed went to 50 or 40 or wherever it's going? You're not going to remember any of this. What you're going to remember is how sovereigns failed you in California and in England and everywhere else. Okay. Like I say these corny things like, hey, whose job is it to protect yourself? Whose job is it to take care of you? It's our job to take care of you. Who's going to get you out of, whatever job you have, right? What's going to happen when artificial intelligence really comes online, right? How do you protect yourself from all that? What, to get short bonds? To do some hedge fund trade? No, come on. We know what the answer is. And of course, they're scaring you for 10 days. That's how you know the market's really going up. Like 1 minute, Bitcoin's going to $10 million. The next minute, everyone's out. Okay, here we go. Ready? Here's our friends from Bloomberg. The last of the left. Trump tariff fears pushing global rates higher. Oh my God. The tariffs that don't exist yet. Says the International Monetary Fund, a non-governmental organization. And here she is. I got a great idea. We're not taking financial advice from the left or anyone who looks like a raisin. Sorry. Not doing it. Not doing it. Right? Old people scaring us out of our crypto is over. The left scaring us in general is over. I'm sorry. It's okay to be liberal. It's okay to have different ideas, but this is obvious bias to me. Oh my God, the IMF knows everything. The IMF told El Salvador, I believe, that they shouldn't do what they're doing with Bitcoin. Now they're falling over themselves to lend them money. The apocalypse is still unspooling. Okay, so what happened in California? Well, let's see. They didn't do what they needed to do on water policy because they didn't have the interest of the citizens at heart. Then somebody started a fire, right? On purpose, I think. Okay. The primary job of government is to protect the people. So if the sovereigns can't protect the people, don't the people have to protect themselves, economically speaking? How do you protect yourself from this total insanity, right? The total insanity of what is happening is the friend of crypto. Laura Loomer. Well, Elon finally gave her blue check back now that Elon is done picking on, I don't know, conservative women. So you got almost $1 trillion to your name and you're going to pick on Laura. Really? Wow. Impressive. So she's got her blue check mark back, but she's not monetized, most likely because she's doing this thing about, stuff that's in the employment numbers. It's there about, like people who just got here are the ones who are getting jobs. So this gangbuster employment number, I think we should, read between the lines a little bit, and let's hope Laura, gets back in the game. Because I'm not really into picking on Laura's in general, even if she has a lot of money or she's famous. She's got 1.4 million Twitter followers. Trillionaires should still not be doing that. They shouldn't, right? I mean, if anything, he made the argument for crypto. He really did. He did us a favor. We'll talk more about it. So the SEC approved the Spot Bitcoin ETF exactly 1 year ago. And that was a sell the fact event at 48K. Oh yeah, ETF's coming, sell. ETF comes out, sell. Sell, sell, sell. Everybody wants to sell. selling is so fashionable, right? Like, oh, everyone gets hopeful and you dump on everyone's head and you're a genius because everyone's like, oh, I should have sold. No, what you should have done was not get emotional, which I was guilty of, and you should be ready for the dip because they're giving you a dip. This is the Orange Man golden dip, because I can't believe after what has transpired here, especially with what's going on in California, that the Orange Man isn't going to step up to the podium and scream as loud as he can for anything American, anything sovereign, anything common sense, anything, especially after Elon blew it with this thing with the visas. Now he's emboldened more by the fact that, you know, literally Newsom in California may have created something that could go down in history, because that's not under control yet at all. At all. So again, I don't talk like this often, but I actually did pray today for the people who are caught in that out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did a tour of duty in Houston, and, you know, hurricanes and whatnot out there. You know, anybody who's ever lived in Houston has got 15 gallons of water in the house just because of what can happen. And then you see that out there, and you're like, how is it that we're all bearish crypto after watching, again, one of the most colossal failures of a sovereign ever? I don't know. But everybody wants to sell the fact, and that seems insane to me. Okay, here we have our friends at CNBC, right? U.S. payrolls grew by 256,000. Job market's on fire. They haven't told the truth about the job market in 2 years. And the Fed led with the insane tightening cycle going, oh my God, demand. Oh my God, the labor market. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It was all fake. All fake. Biden's economy has driven 38% of Gen Z into a crisis. My kid is Gen Z. You cannot believe what has happened to these kids. And RFKJ has brought this up. Another month, another record high on Uncle Sugar's payroll, ending 2024 at 23.5 million people on the dole, basically. Full-time jobs have fallen 1.3 million since June of 2023. All net job growth is part-time workers, side hustles, the gig economy, trying to basically pay your grocery bill. More than half of all net job growth was either direct or indirect government hires. You know, you can hire a lot of people when you borrow, I don't know, $1 trillion every 100 days. What are we doing? We're taking these numbers seriously? Not to mention, even if you do take the numbers seriously, what's going on in California skews all the numbers. So the numbers aren't true. Economists can never estimate them correctly anyway. And now you have a situation where you could have large-scale displacement. So good luck in figuring out inflation. Good luck in figuring all this stuff out. The number of people employed by the government rose 438,000 in 2024. Okay, back to our friends at Bloomberg. Are you seeing a pattern here? Blowout jobs report fuels Wall Street fears of lose-lose market. You know, they just can't stand it that the Orange Man's going to be sworn in 10 days. Oh my God, it's all over. Even the Fed is talking like this. You know what I'm saying? It's like they can't wait for it all to blow up. Hot data fuels market concern over Fed policy trajectory. Correlations rise in sign of macro-driven investing regime, as if this character writing the article has any idea what that really means. Hot, hot, hot. Now, what's really happening here is that bond markets are adjusting themselves. People are getting distracted from what's really important, and they're making you live with downside risk. The problem with Bitcoin before Christmas is that people thought there was no downside risk. I was guilty of a lot of things. At least I wasn't guilty of that, because it can always go down. It can always flush people out. I didn't think they could do it, but they did, and they've been doing it. This is what they do to get your Bitcoin. This is what they do after they fill Michael Saylor's orders. In some ways, honestly, I think Michael Saylor's kind of in on it, right? He has an agreement with these guys that the market, they run the market up. Michael Saylor buys at the top, and then they organically drop the market to try to replace their Bitcoin inventory. And they're only going to be able to do that so many times. Fewer than 617,000 people who work here. Like, in other words, there are 700,000 fewer people working who were born here. And I've said this on the stream before this became some hot button issue. It's the worst kept secret in economics that most of the job growth in this country is people who just got here. So I don't know why Bloomberg is like, oh my God, it's hot, hot, hot. Yeah, for who? You know what I'm saying? Like, for who? Doing what? Bank of America says it no longer expects the Fed to cut rates. Okay, well, first of all, Warren Buffett is selling Bank of America stock. Just saying. Second of all, okay, well, they thought the Fed was going to cut rates a lot. They've thought that twice. Now they're wrong again. I think the Fed should save whatever ammunition it has for a crisis. If inflation's 4%, Fed funds at 4%, okay. Interest rates are probably still too high because people are getting hurt on mortgages and cars. I mean, I have no idea who you think is going to buy a house in this country at 8% mortgage. Like, in some ways, the bond market may have just solved the inflation problem. We'll go over the bond chart. Who is buying a car and who is buying a house with rates where they are right now? Like, the bond market literally may have fixed the problem. Meanwhile, gold is going to go up and we need a different currency. They do in England. Everybody needs a different currency because this paper stuff is no good. Don't believe me? Ask somebody, ask Genz Z. Ask them. U.S. representative disclosed purchases of Bitcoin, XRP, and Solana. Yeah, because they know what the orange man's going to do when he gets in office. Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple knows. They know. That's it. End of story. And now they're going to have to do it harder because everyone's depressed now. So they screwed up, like Elon screwed up on this visa thing. Then you've got the fire in California, and then the market fell apart. So now everyone's depressed again. Seriously. I mean, the guy on Zero Hedge 2 days ago says this is like FTX level depression. Okay. Why are we doing that? And if we are doing that, what's going to happen when the orange man steps up to the podium? I mean, why would you fade the orange man when he's going to have an audience? Right? Like, I think this visa thing is such an embarrassment that, I mean, he's going to have to come out blazing with the stars and stripes, particularly after Newsom single-handedly nuked California. Right? So it's stars and stripes. It's Bitcoin. And hopefully we can get something for the common man. Because, you know, AI is disrupting the job market. You know, the tech bros have made it very clear about how, you know, they're going to do their staffing. Okay. So what are you going to do? You're going to get upset? You're going to get bearish? You're going to fall for this bullshit with the bond market? No way, man. No way. Like, if they want to wreck the bond market, they can wreck the bond market. If they wreck the bond market, all they're doing is buying themselves a housing problem, like a crisis, because no one will buy a house and houses are so expensive. I don't know how that turns out. But I think the real answer to all these problems is a melt up in crypto, is a fast moving, different currency that can adjust itself. just like they adjusted gold, then they adjusted sterling, then they're going to do Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Algorand, Hedera, and Cardano. That's next, in my opinion. The only difference between now and the last time I said it is you got to live with a potentially ugly Bitcoin chart, and you got to live with the fear of Bitcoin going to 80K. You got to live with the pain, and you got to live with the fear, right? You got to live with it. And you know what? I think that's a good thing. And of course, if they smash it, I mean, that's obviously not good for anybody's P&L. But living with the fear is what feeds the bull market. You can't have a bull market without fear. You can't have a bull market without like people being afraid to get in. That's what feeds the bull. And if you probably will have intense volatility around this CPI number. The Justice Department is threatening to sell Bitcoin. They're not going to stop, right? They're not going to stop. A lot of like commentators on TV predicted, total bedlam prior to the orange man taking his hand off the Bible. Okay, great. You guys have a great time with that. We'll let you do what you need to do for 5 days, and then we'll see you then. We'll see. We'll see what prevails. We'll see what macro thesis works. Now, I got another idea. Ready? Because I don't have the article in front of me, but Salesforce.com, okay? Salesforce is not hiring any more engineers. Because if you sit down and engineer with an AI chatbot, just like, you have me and the Eagle King and Toby, and you give us AI tools to create thumbnails and content and all kinds of stuff. Okay, here we go. We can do a lot of things. We can do a lot of things that maybe we couldn't do before. And Salesforce is telling you that AI is deflationary. That's right. I said the magic word, deflationary. It's deflationary. In other words, they don't need to hire any more engineers because an engineer in a chatbot equals 3 engineers. It's deflationary. So at the moment where we're hysterical about inflation, a major CEO just came out and told you that AI is deflationary because it makes it harder to get a job. And the structure of the labor market makes that difficult to begin with. So it's like, oh my God, we're going to have a bond crash. No, bro, we're going to have a prices paid crash, right? We're going to have a currency adjustment. That's what we're going to have. And it's amazing that people don't see that. It's absolutely amazing. Did you know Ethereum ranked first for the highest revenue among blockchains with $1.9 billion? It's amazing. Aave, Uniswap, Maker, companies that actually, protocols that actually make money. Amazing, don't you think? $1.9 billion on ETH, and no one will touch it. And Vitalik sells it every time he can. It's staggering. Right? It's Web3 has a profitable mechanism and no one will talk about it. Just like everybody wanted to sell gold. Makes no sense to me at all. None. MicroStrategy's Bitcoin debt loop. Stroke of genius or risky gamble? Okay, well, there's a lot of short sellers out there, and I was pointing to this trade before this debacle happened. MicroStrategy stock on this Bitcoin sell-off should have just gone to zero, and it hasn't yet. Now, we got another week to go, so I don't want to like sit around, but you got a lot of people short this stock. They spend next week hitting it, and they can't break the charts of Bitcoin, or they can't break MicroStrategy. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. The orange man's picking out the orange tie for the inauguration. Watch out. Watch out. right? We're going to take everything they got, even if it's Bitcoin at 80. There's no way I'm giving up on this thesis because, frankly, they've made the thesis better. Like, if you said to me, let's do it this way. If you said to me that Newsom in California, the sovereign leaders of California, would do a catastrophic mistake that could result in them never getting back in power, that they could actually lose power on a semi-permanent basis in California, and that people would wake up to this whole idea of who's there to protect them, particularly when the fire hydrants don't work. What would you say? What would you say if I said that such an event would occur? Like, imagine someone cleaning up San Francisco. Imagine that whole state, dare I say it, going Ronald Reagan again. You know what I'm saying? It's like literally, you know, the left and the suppressors are burning. Like, their ideology is burnt away. Now, they've created epic human suffering, but who is there to protect you? And who will be running the state of California in the future? And what will those people think about Bitcoin or Web3 or sovereigns? What will they think? Will they think their government cares about them when they can't get the fire hydrants running? I don't know. I know that, like, who do you want to line up with? You know, sovereign leaders or Michael Saylor? Crypto headed for Banana Singularity, where everything goes up. Wow, I like that. Bull posting right into the crypto boohoo. The Banana Singularity. What happens if what's happening to sterling happens to the US dollar in the cryptocurrency market? It's amazing that we, you know, like, did you know cryptocurrency is one word? Type it into Grammarly. Cryptocurrency is one word. Yet we don't think of it that way. So, big tech company to invest $3 billion in AI cloud expansion and training overseas. So they can't bring the people over here anymore. So they're going to build the organizations over there. And frankly, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. It's like, okay, well, you know what? We can't bring people over here anymore. So we're just going to have to build it all over there. An extremely predictable development. Now, look, it's a free market. You know what I'm saying? Like, to a certain degree, these big companies are going to do whatever they're going to do regardless, right? These guys, you know, they're like one step away from being God with the artificial intelligence that, you know, they're going to create. So, again, what are you going to do about it? Like, privacy is a joke, right? Like, no one's talking about privacy. No one's talking about Ethereum. No one's talking about Web3. No one's talking about an ICO boom on Solana. No one's talking about that. No one wants Web3. Does Microsoft want Web3? Probably not. Are they going to be forced to do it at some point? Yeah. You know why? Because we're going to force them to. Because Web3 doesn't need these characters to develop. It would be helpful if they would get in there on gaming, and they probably will have to, because that's what the people will want. The people wanted the Orange Man, and all these left-wing characters had to donate money. They all donated to the inauguration fund. All of them. All of them. And check the latest Joe Rogan podcast for a reversal from our friends. Blowout jobs report. Trump tariff fears. Oh my God. Not buying it. Don't listen to these people. They've never been right on anything. UK judge says you should not have thrown your Bitcoin hard drive into the trash. US cleared to sell $6.5 billion in Bitcoin. Will it crash? No. Okay. No, because they have to get all kinds of approvals to do so, and they just want you to be afraid. They are selling fear. Red hot DeFi platform that I've never heard of faces backlash. It is amazing how these type of things get press, but the fact that most DeFi protocols prior to this debacle were actually really rallying, right, at the small cap level. DeFi and Wall Street coming in here is absolutely going to happen, and it's going to be sterling out of London. It's going to be London and Hong Kong because they got problems over there. And when it happens to sterling, right, it's one thing about the English. They're very proud of their currency. And I don't care what race, creed, or color, they've all got sterling in their pocket. And when they wake up over there and realize that the people in power, regardless of what they've told them, do not have their interest at heart. They don't. U.S. enforcement chief behind CFTC cases exits before the orange man arrives. What an excellent idea. U.S. Bitcoin reserve would have profound impact on adoption. Exactly. All the orange man has to do is get into the limousine after he takes his hand off the Bible and call up every single governor of every state and call up every big corporation that doesn't want a tariff and say, you know what? I think you guys should be buying Bitcoin Monday morning. You got 3 days to figure it out. Make an announcement. Let's go. That's really simple. It's the art of the deal. Polymarket customers data sought by Uncle Sugar on the way out the door. Unbelievable. Like they're going to press all the way until the end. All the way until the end. U.S. listed Bitcoin miners accounted for 25% of the network in December. Mining profitability increased. Okay. The rally in Bitcoin outpaced the increase in the network hash rate. The network is flying and we're all giving up. China's central bank halts bond purchases to support the currency. Wait a minute. What? You mean the only way out of a debt crisis is to devalue the currency? Who said that? People, when they start buying Bitcoin out of Hong Kong, when these speculators over there, when they turn them loose and they figure out the only way to solve their 25% youth unemployment rate is the green button, I can wait for all the ninnies to get done doing whatever it is they're going to be doing between now and the inflation number or when the orange man takes his hand off the Bible or whatever. Okay, so we have small countries with a crypto reserve paving the way for other small countries to do the same thing. Gee, I mean, we can buy Bitcoin and make money and be safe? Yeah, actually you can. Election swayed advisors, but crypto adoption has room to run. Half the surveyed advisors, registered investment advisors, consider regulatory uncertainty the top hurdle for future crypto investments. You know, folks, there's always a reason not to. There's always an excuse. There's always an excuse not to do something that's good for you. Your brain will always seek comfort. Your brain will never tell you, charge towards danger. You have to tell your brain we're charging towards danger. That, you know, if they want to take Bitcoin down to 80, you'll adjust your portfolio, but you'll make it and you'll meet them down there if that's what happens. In the meantime, you know, you're not going to just throw in the towel. Is the rate cut cycle over? Maybe. Good. That means we got to do all the adjusting in the economy. in a foreign exchange market. And this guy is almost certainly going away because he doesn't have your interest at heart at all. They left rates at 0 and they had to jam it to 5%. Crazy. Crazy. It's going to go down in history as like the destroyer of worlds. Just like these characters in the UK are going to go down as the guys who got pushed out by Sterling. Can't wait. U.S. government must follow a strict process before unloading $6.5 billion in Bitcoin. Yeah. Okay. They explain how they unload. Okay. Well, you know what? If they unload, when they're done, that's the last big seller in Bitcoin, right? The rest of it's in diamond hands. Who's going to sell? Chinese aren't going to sell. Chinese are probably calling the government right now going, hey, guys, you guys got $6.5 billion to go? Yeah, we'll take all of that. We made a big mistake letting the miners go to Texas. Meet Solana Strategy, the MicroSrategy of Solana. Yeah, exactly. ICO boom on Solana, and Solana is money. So's XRP, which can't go down, by the way. Sam Altman's World Project passes 10 million eyeballs. You know, the suppressors can do crypto too. It's a free market. We got to be smarter and better. Period. Oklahoma man, FDIC Vice Chair urges more open approach to crypto. Slams choke point-like tactics. I mean, they tried to run us all out of town, and we're going to let them do it. We're going to go full Chicken Little 10 days before they go away. Now, arguably, there may not be much of a difference. I hope there's a difference between the orange man and the people in there now. I think there is, especially when it comes to crypto. But we listen to these people try to run us off the planet for 4 years, and we're all going to chicken out with 10 days to go. No way. Absolutely no way. No way. Ethereum game coming to Steam and PS5, but without the crypto features. Gaming will onboard Genz Z. Genz Z is so over it. So over people who look like raisins telling them what to do. When they discover the green button, it won't stop for months. Cynthia Loomis tapped to lead first ever Senate committee. Bitcoin's outlook remains bullish despite macro setback. Yeah, the macro setback, a minor adjustment in the bond market, which covered up a collapse in a major currency. Bitcoin analysts explain why Bitcoin could avoid 90K. Because every state in the union that wants the orange man to look upon them favorably is going to buy Bitcoin. Let's go to live TA immediately and see what's going on. This is a reminder. Feel free to jump in the YouTube member area, right? We will be releasing all the altcoins. And if you've lost your sanity because of what's going on with this market, we will help you stay sane. New podcast episodes coming this weekend. Okay, Solana 4-hour chart on DeMark. You will probably see a 13 bottom soon. Solana is now back where it was in mid-December. It's also relatively close to where it was on November 5th. On November 5th, Solana was at 184. Solana is currently at 185. Nothing has happened in Solana since the election. I guess Solana's never going up again. Okay, Ethereum will perhaps go up one day if Vitalik could stop selling it. It's at least near its low. It can't get up off the ground. Okay, Bitcoin is above a DeMark support line at 94. And you know what? The next little sideways to down move could be a bottom on a 4-hour chart. Just like Michael Saylor's orders getting filled up here. Every time Michael Saylor buys on a DeMark 13 top, I'm going, okay, let's get out of the way while they do their thing. And they smack Bitcoin so they can hoover it all back up again. Michael Saylor will be back. XRP. What has XRP done? Nothing. Can they hit XRP? No. XRP does a 13 bottom on a 4-hour chart by just going sideways, and then they're just right back after it again. I mean, I don't think people understand how high this can really go. I don't. Hedera. Okay, so you don't want to believe me about XRP? Hedera trades exactly the same way. The made in America cryptos. It's not moving. MicroSrategy on a daily chart. Gee, they got a big gap to fill there. You would think with everything just, crypto's falling apart. Bitcoin's going to 80K. Oh my God, it's all over. They can't hit it. They can't get it into a gap. They got it down there once, but I don't know. Are people a little bit short out there, you think? I think they are. I think they're super short this thing. I was wondering if this was a head and shoulders bottom with an upward sloping neckline. Wouldn't it be funny if this was a shoulder, this was a head, and this was a shoulder? That if they tried to hit this thing and it doesn't work, could this thing turn around and boomerang back and take out its high just because everyone is short? Now, I thought that when Bitcoin was at 100, they still haven't been able to hit it yet. Stocks trade terrible. Yeah, this is way down off of its high, but everyone's like, oh my God, Michael Saylor's irresponsible. Okay, bro, we'll take the stock down then. Take the stock down. Take it down below 300. Go ahead. What are you waiting for? Right? Oh my God, the bond market. Okay. All right, dude, take it. Take Bitcoin down. Really? Take it below 90. The inflation numbers coming out next week. Hot take. Inflation's high. Wow. I hadn't heard that before. I hadn't heard that since 2020. The only place where the planet Earth can adjust to the new reality and actually free economics is through crypto. Yet, I don't know. We're just not doing it for some reason. We're not doing it. All right. I do have some of this in PowerPoint, but now the good news is we have the euro. The euro has arrived at its discount zone. So I hope the euro stops going lower because I'm tired of the rising dollar. This 5-wave indicator hints that the euro could stop, but there are no signals yet from the signals and the oscillator matrix, on LuxAlgo. Yeah, there's no signal here yet. I don't see a reversal signal in the euro. I also don't see a reversal signal in sterling. Now, sterling may stop or may slow down. Then again, like GBP stands for the Great British Pound. Now, again, probably excessive to a certain degree, but it's down only. It's down only for a reason, for a very good reason. This is an 89-minute chart. It's amazing how, like the news media has not picked up on this yet. I mean, it's not a disaster, but it is down only. Like all they got to do is take out 1.2. Like all they got to do is get a little bit emotional. And again, the higher dollar, not good. But there is a major currency collapsing in front of our eyes, and we're not paying attention to it. So now let's go over to PowerPoint. Well, let's welcome who's here first. Let's check out what's going on. Steve J, the DeFi guy, Aave 4-hour bullish divergence, right? Crypto hoops, flash crash to 75K coming in the next 45 days. We'll go over that. We'll go over that. Randall is here. Welcome. Killakev 421. Bitcoin 1 hour bullish divergence. Grammy is here. Yo, let's go to PowerPoint. Let's go to PowerPoint. Where's PowerPoint? Okay, here's the question. Is Bitcoin a bubble? Was it a bubble? Did I buy the top of a bubble? Let's talk about it. Howard Marks identifies psychological extremes as the hallmark of a bubble. So you overestimated future potential. That's the $10 million price target. A belief that there's no price too high. Well, that's Michael Saylor probably having his keys destroyed when he passes away. Participation by non-expert investors drawn in by hype. Okay, well, the crypto bros got drawn in, that's for sure. But what about the general public? I don't think the general public isn't drawn in here at all. At all. Matter of fact, I think there's more of a sober reality that like registered investment advisors and BlackRock themselves are only talking about a 2% allocation. That's not what they were doing when they were doing internet stocks or ICOs. They were out of their minds. So I don't think we had the participation that we did last time. Did people get over their skis? Yeah, they did. But they purged it all out in 10 days. And there's more. They may do more. Like I said, that guy with the flash crash, he could be right. We'll go over that. It's not what you buy. It's what you pay that counts right here. It's what you pay that counts. And you know what? Bitcoin at 92, 82, 75. I'll take it. There's no way you're going to get me off this with the pound collapsing. Avoiding mania is crucial to long-term investor success. Fear greed now at 50. If I told you fear greed sub 50, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days before the orange man gets inaugurated, buy or sell, what would you have said? What would you have said? And now everyone's running for the hills. We'll go over the risk to reward ratio. Okay. So here's Sterling on DeMark. You could have the final puke on Monday or Sunday night. We'll see. These DeMark signals don't bottom Sterling. Wow. You know, I'm really interested in Mr. Market taking a government that doesn't have the interest of its people kind of out to the woodshed. Mr. Market in currencies hasn't been around for a very long time. And everyone's like, well, the bond market is going to get upset about the $37 trillion. Okay, well, yeah, all right. It's amazing how that's all of a sudden happening right on cue when Bloomberg wants it to. Amazing, right? It was fine, but now, oh my God, it's a problem. Yeah, it's been a problem. The only way to fix the debt problem is to devalue the currency. So now it's happening to the English. And now they're going to take note of the cryptocurrency market. Okay, again, Sterling, I don't know where the bottom is. Gold. Ooh, hey, everybody remember selling gold to buy Bitcoin? Oh, I don't think we should do that. I said that. Meanwhile, gold is just breaking out of a pennant. The greatest thing you can happen for gold is a Fed that can't do anything or doesn't do anything, and inflation and government spending persist to a certain degree, right? If you have 4% inflation, gold's going to 4,000. And no one is looking at this chart. No one is talking about it. I'm like, this is breaking out. This is about to go up only. And everyone is selling. Everyone's selling crypto. Everyone wants to get out. Everyone's afraid of the inflation numbers. And I'm like, wait a minute. Folks, we need a different currency. We need hard assets. We need different forms of money. And there's the gold market telling you that. I'm not making this up. Okay, so here's the fear point in Bitcoin. So it's a shoulder, it's a head, it's a shoulder. Unfortunately, it's a textbook shoulder because normally on the right shoulder of any Head and Shoulders formation, whether it's a top or a bottom, the peak of motion is on that right shoulder. I got caught here and absolutely in love with my LuxAlgo buy signal, and then boom, it goes the other way. And to add to it, it just sits here right on this major painful level. Because if they break 92K, they get 2 closes below this like 90 level. The downside target is 75. And everybody who connect, who has a pencil and can draw a line and connect 2 points will be drawing this formation, whether digitally or with a pencil. So this will be everywhere. It was already everywhere. And I dissed the people who drew it, and I stand corrected. Now, here's what I'll tell you about this. There is, let's say, $15,000 in price. There's $15,000 in downside risk for Bitcoin. Bitcoin could go down $15,000 in a giant, huge, oh my God, they could sell the $6 billion in Bitcoin right after the inflation numbers. Yellen is clearly not supporting the treasury market anymore because the US bond market, the UK bond market, and the Japanese bond market are all falling apart at the same time, which means the Fed basically just stopped holding it up, or the treasury or whoever. They just let it all go. They're like, oh, okay. Well, the orange man's coming into power. One crisis coming up, whatever. There's $15,000 worth of downside in Bitcoin. So now I ask you, how much upside risk is there? Now you're like, well, the upside targets for this year are 200,000. Like, all right, well, what did you think the downside risk was going to be on that? It can double, but it can never go down. It can go down. It can. You cannot underestimate these people, what they're going to do. In the entire state of California, the entire Los Angeles area, that could look like something out of a science fiction horror film by the time it's said and done. So you could have $15,000 worth of downside in Bitcoin because strange things can happen. But what's the upside? Once people realize, when people wake up. And again, you're going to have the orange man at the podium, right? Motivated by what's going on in California, right? Like, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but what's going on in California actually allows the orange man to recover from Elon's just, turd in the punch bowl over this thing with employment and the employment landscape. Now we can come out with Made in America. Now we can come out with let's turn around San Francisco. Let's turn it around out there. I can see it with the orange necktie. So, okay, they want to hit it. Okay, they can hit it. The government's got $6.5 billion to sell. It would be stupid to underestimate the darkness that's out there. It's right there on the chart, right? It's right there on the Ethereum chart. Hopefully Vitalik is not the one who sells it. ETH is at equilibrium. If it wasn't for the Head and Shoulders formation, I'd be like, oh, this is okay. But there's no bottom signal yet on the I don't have a bottom signal on the oscillator matrix yet. So I can't be like, oh, well, this definitely won't go down. I can't say that. It's not there. Now, Solana is on support at 180. It's at the bottom of an accumulation cone. I don't know, man. I have such a tough time because Solana never went up to begin with. Now, here's what the hysterics are about in the bond market. So you have the U.S. long bond, which determines 30-year mortgage rates. So think of this as the mechanism that creates your mortgage rate. I had somebody a month ago DM me and say, I don't understand why interest rates are higher when the Fed has cut rates massively. Well, because the bond market rebelled against, perceived fiscal irresponsibility. And most likely Yellen just stopped supporting the treasury market. They've been holding it up for 4 years. Then just stopped because the orange man's coming into power. They're like, oh, let's have a problem. Seriously. And of course, the market just got sick of it. They got sick of it in sterling and they got sick of it in bonds. It's got, it was out of control. They printed $1 trillion every 100 days. What do you expect? So the bond went to 5% on this allegedly, Bloomberg. It's a new word, right? Not hot. It's Bloomberg. It's the Bloomberg unemployment number. Oh my God. Jobs are hot, hot, hot. Okay, so the long bond did not go through 5%. If it does, obviously it's over, but it hasn't. Now, most likely what you're going to have is an adjustment in short-term interest rates. You're breaking out of a triangle on the upside. This is a 5-year note interest rates. This is your car payment or your car interest rate. And it looks like it wants to go back to its high. Fed funds are at 4.25%, something like that. I don't think it's a disaster if the 5-year bond has a 4.75 or, it's at 4.5 right now. If it's at 4.8, I don't know. I don't think that's the end of the world. The market's not going to like that. Bitcoin and stocks are not going to like that, but it could happen. So what? I mean, they're going to adjust the bond market for the fact that the Fed is probably taking a full year off. Okay. Fear greed would be at 50, 10 days before the orange man comes into power, buy or sell. Can you have additional bond market volatility? Yes. Okay. The long bond yield is at its premium zone. The 5-year note yield is headed for there. So you probably have one more puke in the bond market, one more jack up in interest rates off an inflation, hot take, inflation's out there. Here's the bond market, TLT. This is the ETF for US long bonds. If you have trouble with the whole interest rates thing, this thing trades in the stock market. Currently trades at 85, might get 83. Okay. It's on the weekly and the daily at that level. 83 was the October 2023 low. Okay. Bonds break down beyond that DeMark level. Well, you have a problem. It's as simple as that. It's like, if you believe in 200K, you're going to have to take the risk of 75, or if it goes to 75, or you have to be patient enough to see if that actually happens. Either way, you're going to earn your money. It's not going to be easy. It's never easy. I said that and I got caught, even though I was saying that. So I just left it alone for a week. Sometimes you just have to walk away. Like Genz said, you don't always have to watch tape. You don't always have to do a trade. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to acknowledge the risk, but I'm not going to get caught in bearish hysteria. And there's the dollar at its premium zone again. And there could be a big move. And I'm wondering if that's Mr. Market's final heave in sterling, right? I'm really looking forward to the cryptocurrency market getting people's attention. It's probably over in sterling and the euro, and that's okay. But give me one last final shot. Give me one last shot. Okay. T-Bone likes Ondo, Virtuals, Arrow, and Fetch.AI. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what they've done to these altcoins. I can't imagine. So let's go to some live TA. Wow. So here's Virtuals. I would have thought it held at 331. It appears I stand corrected. I mean, no matter how you draw this is taking out the 38% retracement, which means it could go to the 62% retracement at $2. Now, sometimes you can break down and then come back, or sometimes people can just panic. Anything you get at the 62% retracement, you just got to grab it. I mean, I know no one wants, no one wants to hear this. And I wanted that level to hold, and I thought it was gonna. But if it doesn't, it's gonna retrace 62%. Interesting. So like this thing that somebody showed me where they want to like make real people, like a market for real people via AI, Lush. That's right at its 62% retracement. And I guess if they flush this out too, it's going right back to the top, like right back to kind of the range it was in before it broke out. So I don't know what this is going to do, but I mean, they have this stuff marked down to nothing in some ways. Sekoia By Virtuals. That is a robust market cap at 58 million. But whatever this is, if it holds the 38% retracement, if they smack the market, that might be telling you something. We had this in a YouTube member report. I'm interested in that. Okay, let's look at Fetch. It's amazing how the whole AI agent market was like going to take over the world. And now the only thing in crypto anyone wants to talk about is the 10-year note. It's unbelievable. Fetch AI at the bottom of a wide-mouthed formation like this, if they can't hit this thing, or if they do and it holds, like if what you get is this uneasy, like, oh my God, like that to me is the most bullish thing. Like they can't rally it, and it just trades terrible. It just makes you feel awful. Now I'm dying to get some kind of reversal signal here. So I don't know if you have to get the crash to get the turn. Just can't bring myself to not like this. Like, look at Cardano. Like LuxAlgo is just, I mean, it's, some of this stuff has like an elegance to it. It's like, why sell now? Why? I mean, it's almost like, equilibrium is right underneath the market at 82 cents. I can't do it. Like, yes, they can wick it down. Yes, they can take out these, like there was a lot of FOMO in Cardano, and now they're washing it out, and they're doing the same thing. They could be doing the same thing in virtuals. Virtuals will not be the first ultra hot thing to like potentially flash and then come back. Why are we getting chased out of the market at support? You shouldn't be, right? Let them hit it next week. Let them scare you, right? The thing in Los Angeles is so powerful, I don't even need to say it. Because there are a lot of people out there who subscribe to a certain ideology, right? That, fire department resources were reallocated somewhere else. They were allocated somewhere else. Why? Is the primary job of government, the primary job of sovereigns is to protect the people. Okay. Well, I'm not sure they're getting that message. So you have to protect yourself. And if you have to live with $15,000 in price risk to the downside in Bitcoin, so be it. So be it. I mean, I don't know everybody's portfolio. Okay. Obviously, in the YouTube member area, we're aggressively going to be creating new content, getting ready for either the final puke or just, hey, maybe it's just general stomach churning volatility. Matter of fact, that's kind of what we're thinking. It's just going to be nasty and volatile and up and down and back and forth. And if they want to wick it down, well, then they're just going to wick it down, because you're never going to forget. You're never going to forget the fire hydrants that didn't work. Like, if they can't get the fire hydrants working, what's going to happen in the event of an economic destruction? I'm sorry, what's going to happen in the event of an economic problem? Like, the fire hydrant doesn't work. Well, what happens if the ATM doesn't work? Are you ready for that? Is anybody ready for that? No. Right? No. And everybody, after a 10-day drop, runs scared. And if it's a 20-day drop, people will be hysterical. You have FTX level depression. No way. Like, even if they take it down again, I am not doing that. I said at the beginning of the year, and I will stand by this promise, that I am going to be way more positive, right? Yes, there are things, there are labor market developments, there are developments out there. But the solution is not a bond market crisis. That doesn't solve the problem. That makes hedge funds rich. And their trade's working, so let's be reasonable. Let's be fair. They had this right. But the solution has got to be something positive. And that solution is Bitcoin and crypto and crypto. Now, if that's not believable, then I'll tell you this. AI is deflationary. It's deflationary. And it's rapidly advancing. So this week, we'll hear all this hysterics about inflation, and what we should be trading is deflation, right? It's hard assets. It's the cryptocurrency market. It's gold. So if inflation is 10%, AI will bring it down to 3 or 4. The cryptocurrency market is our future. And that's what I want you to remember before you go to bed tonight. To our listeners in the United States, Europe, Asia, and in the state of California and Los Angeles, bless you. We wish you well. We will see you tomorrow.